Hello, internets. It's me, Marconi, and this is Draw My Life. When my mom and dad were 17 years old, I'm pretty sure my mom was already with child, but they decided to get married, and boom, a few months later, there I was. Boom, big fat baby. Yeah, look how cute. Oh, yeah. I guess I was a good kid, and I didn't cry a lot or anything, and we were a happy little family, and my dad was cool. He was a mechanic, and he was really smart. He was 17, but he was kind of a brilliant guy. He could take apart any kind of mechanical thing, vacuums, cars, whatever. And he was even a singer in a rock band, and he was actually really good from what I'm told. And so he was kind of James Dean-like in my mind. And, you know, he also liked to drive cars really fast. And one time he drove a car too fast, and he crashed and died. Yeah, my dad died when I was 3, and that was really sad because who doesn't want to grow up with a dad? And my dad seemed like he was pretty cool, and I could have learned a lot from him, but what are you going to do? Then I started in kindergarten, and I was like, yay, this is fun, new friends, and I get to meet people, and my mom decided to get married again, and that seemed exciting because my mom was happy, and if my mom was happy, I was happy, so that was cool with me, and he seemed like a good guy. And then my little sister came around, and she was born. Boom. And I loved her so much. She cried a lot, but she's awesome. Then my mom, things didn't work out, and she divorced. So, and then we moved, which you'll see that happens a lot in my life. Moving was kind of a predominant part of my upbringing. But it helped me learn, I think. Then I watched a lot of Sesame Street on TV because I loved Jim Henson and I loved Mr. Rogers. I thought both of them were cool because they taught me make-believe. My grandmothers were really important to me, and I always encouraged me to be creative, and grandmas are the best, so you can't really go wrong there. And one of my grandmas had a tape recorder at her house, and I thought it was the coolest toy ever. And she let me use it like it was mine. Like I could play with it all the time. I just had to leave it at her house. But I made all kinds of podcasty type radio shows or whatever you would call them. But I would interview my grandma and my cousins, and I would just do lots of fun, weird skits. And I always thought the microphone was the best thing ever. I could just do whatever I wanted to. My mom ended up meeting another guy. She was like happy, and she was like, woo, yay, and they got married, and so we were a family again. And we had to move again, blah, blah, yeah. But I moved around so much that I don't think that it helped me in school because I wasn't really that focused on school, and I always got bad grades, so they tested me, and they were like, look at this blot, what does it mean? And I was like, it looks like an oil stain. Am I gonna get in trouble? And they're like, oh man. I was later diagnosed in my adult life as dyslexic. So there was that. And all this stuff was going on. But then my parents had a baby, and I had another little sister. She was cute. And my radio kept going. I kept trying things and making radio stations in my own bedroom. K-Baloney, where we played all the musics. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I like to play around and be weird. And my mom wasn't very happy, so I guess she and my stepdad got a divorce, and that was sad. But my mom was a good mom, and all of my sisters and I were together, and we were a happy little family, and so that's all that mattered. And then we decided, let's move to Tucson, Arizona. Yeah, and Tucson was really cool. It was totally different from where we lived, and I went to high school there one year, and I made a lot of new friends and learned a lot of different things, and it was just a different experience, but we had to move a year after we already moved there into a different school yet again. So that was tough on me. And after doing that for 2 years, I decided that maybe when I went to visit my grandma's over the summer that I would just stay there for a while. And I ended up staying there for a little over like a 2-year period with my grandma's and my aunt. And I also went to 2 different schools while I was there. So that was kind of crazy. But I kept practicing radio because I knew I wanted to be on the radio. And I would wear the headphones and get in front of a microphone and play music and talk over it. And I would send these tapes to radio stations thinking, oh, this will surely get me a radio job because I'm going to be a DJ. Well, that's pretty weird. And my mom met a guy, and he was really awesome. And my sisters and I liked him. And we later adopted 2 other children in our family. And that was cool. And I moved back to Tucson to work at El Pollo Loco before I got a radio job. But I ran out of money, and I didn't really want to live with my parents anymore. So I ended up staying on a bunch of my friends' couches for a while, and that sucked. Until a friend of mine at school's mother let me stay with her and her parents at their house, and they were my surrogate family. And that was really cool. They were the best people on earth until I could get a radio job and get an apartment of my own. So I interned at radio stations in Tucson, and that was really cool. And then I got to move to the greatest state ever, Oregon. Yes, I loved it. Yeah, it rained a lot, but I lived in Eugene and Medford and finally Portland. I got to be on the radio in that city. And wow, that was really awesome. I got to be on a couple of radio stations there. So I loved it. While I was in Oregon, all the food must be so good because I got really fat. Big, fat, fatty. But then I met some workout people and they helped me get skinny. And that was awesome. And I moved on and I went to Seattle and worked at some stations there. And then I went to Los Angeles and worked at the world famous K-Rock for a minute. And I've made a few mistakes. I've been fired a few times. And, you know, people like to tell you, hey, you suck, die. You made mistakes, die. But I've learned a lot. And one of the things I learned is don't listen to haters, because why would you do that? And then I was put in the disc jockey dislocation program and safely disclosed. And now I'm still on radio and I do voiceover everywhere. And that's a lot of fun. You can hear me everywhere. It's crazy. I also do YouTube now, which I love. I started a YouTube channel and I do a podcast, and I still have people that say, you suck, die, you're not funny. But, you know, don't listen to haters, just have fun. And I'm a happy person, so that's all that really matters. Why am I drawing a knife? And that's not right. I basically learned that in life, sometimes you're sad, sometimes things suck, but things can also be awesome. So don't worry too much. Just kind of do your thing and keep going. So that's my Draw My Life, and I hope you liked it. Thanks for watching.